The Isla Paradiso Bunch, episode 78. Welcome, Carrot's here. This is the house in Isla Paradiso that the Isla Paradiso Bunch live in. That's their home. Craig and Judy are the two members of the Isla Paradiso Bunch who are starring in this episode, and they have been at home resting after a busy trip to Egypt. It's time they return to France to continue with Craig's big adventure. Nectar research assistance needed. They spent episode 77 mostly at the nectary in France, where they were trying to discover things and solve riddles, which eventually led them to travel to Egypt, which is why they've been back in Isla Paradiso resting. They took 5 cherumbo beetles with them to Egypt as a gift in the hope of learning something about the riddles that they're trying to solve at the nectary. They learned how Jean Necro had eloped with the pharaoh's daughter, and they had stolen 3 gems that were meant for the pharaoh's crown and taken those gems back to France with them, and somehow they connected with the tombs under the nectary, and that led them to having to deal with the sleazy relic merchant in Egypt. And there's a legend that they learned about while there. The relic merchant said to them, "Ah yes, the legendary gems of the pharaoh Anuk-Rus. The legends list a sapphire, more blue than the desert sky, a ruby redder than blood, and an emerald more green than the eyes of a cobra." After some negotiation and the expenditure of quite a few simoleons, Craig managed to get the Ruby of Sakhara from the relic merchant. On their return to France from Egypt, Craig immediately set out to report his success to Jeannie Lambert, the nectar merchant. And when he finds her, she hasn't left for the nectary yet. It's a bit early in the day. But he says, "Here is the Ruby of Sakhara, as promised. I believe the other gems are in France. Myth states that the sapphire of the Crescent moon lies in the tomb of Jean Nectaro's wife, Isael, who is buried near her husband." Jeannie Lambert's excited. She says, "It is so good to see you again. My word, is that the Ruby of Sakhara? Quick, we must see if it actually works. Head down to the nectar cellars where you found the 3 holes and inspect them again. If this works, as I expect it to, you will be able to fit the ruby in place. You must investigate the area again after you are done." Jeannie Lambert then rushes off immediately to get herself quickly to the nectary where she works as the nectar merchant. Craig hurries back to Judy, and together they set off for the nectary. Craig on his trusty scooter and Judy on her flying vacuum. Of course, the flying vacuum's much faster than the scooter, so she gets there first, of course, even though she leaves much later than Craig did. On arrival at the nectary, they hurry inside, excitedly looking forward to finding out what will happen when they take the ruby down to that room with the 3 holes in the wall. They go inside, and just to give you a quick recap, the cross shows you where they are standing now, and the arrow shows you where they go down the steps, and it continues on in the next level down to where they have to go to continue this adventure. Craig made his way down to that creepy room with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Would this ruby work, or was the whole thing a big waste of time? Takes a shortcut that Judy found in the last episode, and eventually he arrives at the creepy spot with the 3 holes in the wall, takes a deep breath and plunges his hand into the depths of the hole. And he discovers, to his surprise, the Ruby of Sakhara fits perfectly into place, exactly as Jeannie Lambert predicted. Well, he always knew it would work now, didn't he? The way to Isael's tomb. It seems the best course of action is to explore the area again, as was suggested. Craig seems happy. Now we just need to look around this creepy room and see if anything has changed. And it does look like something has appeared on that pedestal. Craig has found a keystone to Isael's tomb. It can be used on matching keystone panels to unlock things. Craig better pick it up and we'll see if anything glows. If the key fits, this key must unlock the Tomb of Isael, mentioned by Jeannie Lambert. Placing the ruby must have made it appear. A key is useless without its companion lock. If the sapphire of the Crescent moon is to be recovered, Craig must first find the entrance to the tomb, somewhere near the vicinity of the 3 holes. Perhaps there's a secret door somewhere around here. It's a shame the key won't fit into that obvious keyhole, but that's the keyhole to the tomb of Jean Necro. His wife's tomb is less obvious, and you can't get the key to go into his tomb until you have completed his wife's tomb. So Craig has got to look for a hidden door, which he seems to be doing at the moment. While Craig is searching for the hidden door, Judy is making her way down from the front room of the nectary, and look, he's found the door. Nice decorations on that door. It's got a very Egyptian theme. And I can see the keystone panel. It is gleaming and glittering, and there is the locked door. So Craig better go put that keystone to some use and unlock that door. There we go, the adventure begins. At last, the Sapphire. History is made by the bold, and by the looks of it, Craig. The Tomb of Isael is now unlocked and ready to be explored. What lies within its silent walls? All that remains is to find the sapphire deep within the tomb. Craig must be careful, for it is safe to assume that Jean Nectaro and his wife Isael had no intentions of these sacred chambers being breached. Find the sapphire of the Crescent moon within the tomb of Isael, and then bring it to Jeannie Lambert. So, wonder how long that's going to take. And there is a canopic jar, part of the canopic jar's collection, and Craig has just collected it. Taking the time to collect that canopic jar allowed Craig a moment to work up the courage to go through that door. And when he did, he entered a tiny room with a set of stairs going down. I wonder what's down there. He checked all the walls to see if there was any hidden doors, but there weren't any. He couldn't find anything to look into or switches to pull either, so he just went down the steps. When he got to the small landing, he tried to find hidden doors on it, but there weren't any. He even pulled that suspicious-looking light fitting, but it didn't do anything either. So he went down to the next flight of steps to see what might be down there. Found himself in a room. It wasn't very big, but did have some nectar in it that he could collect. So he picked up that bottle of nectar that was all by itself on the floor, and then he found a nectar rack that he could take the nectar from. So he took it. There wasn't very much nectar in that nectar rack, but it was still worth taking. It's probably thousands of years old. Oh, there's fire. It was about at this point that Judy arrived and came down the steps. She made another quick check that there were no hidden doors and that light hanging on the wall could not be pulled before she headed off down the final flight of stairs to the room where Craig had picked up the nectar and seen the fire off in the distance. And that fire, well, it's the only place he can go because there's no other exits other than just go back upstairs and give up. So I'm afraid we're going to go onward into the fire. But first, there are puzzles to solve and things to do. And once they've solved all of the puzzles, they'll find they can get through that fire without any problem. Well, there's 2 extra doors there, a blue one and a brown one. And there's a floor switch as well, but we don't seem to have any pushable statues. Looks like there could be a hidden door. There's a doormat on the floor. Yeah, a lot of rubble. Fortunately, Craig's got Pangu's act. Won't take him long to get through that rubble. So here's a quick recap of where they've been. This is the top level basement. They've come down the steps and they've gone down some more steps to level 2 basement and some more steps down to level 3 basement. And there is the fire on the left. Finally, Craig bravely makes a move. After all, it is his adventure. Looks like he needs 2 heart keystones as well. And there's a door there with that doormat, so there's not a hidden door there after all. But where will he go? Oh yeah, Judy's come as well. Which door to go through first? I wonder if it even matters. Obviously, we're looking for 2 heart keystones. As a pair of intrepid adventurers, the main man and the assistant. She's a good assistant. Maybe we'll try the brown door first. So goes Craig. He's made his move. Dive well. There could be a hidden door there. And there's some nectar in the nectar racks. Looks like a piece of dive well underneath that rack of clothes. Craig can collect that. So he's got the bit of dive well. It's all very Egyptian, isn't it? Obviously, Jean Necro and his wife enjoyed Egypt if they've decorated their French tomb as if it were in Egypt. Mustn't forget to collect the nectar, Craig. Ah, yes. Now that is a hidden door, and he's going to open it and see where it takes him. He gets the door open, and it turns out that it's just a treasure room. He found a few ancient coins and a bottle of nectar. And although there were a lot of walls there, he didn't find any more hidden doors in that room. The canopic jars in the background, that was just wall art. He couldn't collect them. But there were, I think it was 3 or 4 piles of ancient coins that he could collect. I think they're going to spend a lot of time looking for keystones and hidden doors and only finding treasure that isn't worth very much in this tomb. So Craig took a dive into the dive well, and he searched around and he found a switch which he clicked, and there is another hidden door. What's in there? I can see a rubble pile. Lucky he's got the axe. He'll be able to get into that fairly quickly. Oh, and a pushable statue made of wood. I'm not accustomed to seeing wooden statues that are pushable. Not accustomed to seeing wooden statues at all. So there is a bottle of nectar, which he collected. And there's a treasure chest. How's he going to get to that, I wonder? I suspect there may be some pushing of pushable statues, but it's not going to be basic, straightforward, simple pushing of pushable statues. Craig and Judy have come down from the top basement, down the steps on the second top basement, and now they're on the third basement. And Craig is in the little room right at the top of the screen. You can see the treasure chest on a little island, and there's 2 pushable statues there, and he's got to pull one and push the other one. And underneath there is a 4th basement room that he's revealed that he can't get to yet. He's obviously got to pull that first statue out of the way so he can get to the second statue. And there is a floor switch there that the second statue can get pushed onto. It looks like that could be a hidden door down there near the barrels on the right-hand side. So maybe when he pushes this wooden pushable statue, it might reveal that hidden door for sure. No, it reveals a different hidden door, one that didn't even look like it existed. But he still can't get across to the treasure chest. So I think what we're going to have to do is pull that first statue along to make room, and then pull the second statue up to where the first statue is. He should be able to get to the treasure chest then. I think we'll just leave it as it is for the moment and go up to the other side and see what is through that blue door. Oh no, this looks even worse, if that could be possible. Look at all the holes in the floor. I wonder what he'll find in there. You might as well start with it. There's a bottle of nectar over there on a pedestal, and I can see a treasure chest behind him as well. Hello, looks like it was some sort of a switch. He's revealed 2 pressure switches that he needs to push a pushable statue onto. There's only one pushable statue here that can actually be pushed, and it's the wooden one. The rest of them are all stone and are not able to be pushed. I tried. I'm wondering why Craig's so excited. Is it because he's surprised he's survived putting his hand in another hole, or that he seems to have discovered something interesting with that hole? So he's just got a piece of metal out of that one. Bit of gold, I think it was. But I find most of the treasure chests produce something different every time. It's just a little bit of random treasure that pops into most of those treasure chests. So Craig's got his priorities right. He's got to forget about pushable statues. Why think about them when there's a bottle of nectar waiting to be collected? The nectar in the racks seemed all to be only available for tasting, and we all know that my policy on Sims tasting nectar when they're busy doing something else. Maybe Craig picked up the nectar because it was easy and he could see how to do it, and he had to think about how he was going to get that pushable statue onto those floor switches. I think he's finally worked it out because he's moving the statue to the first floor switch. He also tried pulling on all of those lights that looked like he could pull on them, but none of them could be pulled, so there was nothing else to do there. Just had to get this statue onto that floor switch and see what happens. Apparently it's a very heavy statue because Craig really struggled with it, and it took him forever to get it into position. It surprised me when he just stepped across that gap then and managed to get straight behind it to push it onto its switch, and it revealed a hole in the wall. How exciting. Now Craig's got to find the courage to stick his hand in another hole. Let's hope it doesn't have bugs in it. Oh, it does have bugs. I was hoping it wasn't going to have any of them. So was Craig. But he got over the shock and he dug around for a while and he found the prize that he was after. A heart-shaped keystone. Now he's going to have to shove that heavy statue all the way down to the end and put it on another floor switch. That's quite a long way for him to push that statue. He's already pushed it past about 3 statues and around a corner. Now he's got to go through about another 5 of them, I think. Notice how he didn't just step across the gap that time. He walked all the way around the hole in the floor. There's an empty spot coming up there on the right. See, there's nothing in there. There's a light. You could fit a statue in there easily, but there's nothing there. He doesn't step across that spot either. Now he's got to the place where he can push the statue onto the floor switch. But he's going to go for a big walk all the way around the edge. And now the moment of truth has arrived. What's going to happen when he pushes it onto the floor switch? Going to activate a switch, and yes, looks like there is something in that little alcove now. Oh, it's a floor switch that Sim has to stand on. So he better go and stand on it and see what happens. Hello, it's done something. It's found 2 hidden doors in the room below, and it's opening them up. Looks like it's an essential switch to stand on, that one. Otherwise you'd never find or get into those doors. Now I suppose we'd better go back and see what was in that other treasure chest at the other end of that hallway. It's got a room under it as well, with a set of steps going down into that room and a hidden door that I'm sure you won't find any other way than by pushing that pushable statue in the room with the treasure chest onto the floor switch. Anyway, at the moment, Craig is focused on doing a little bit more exploring, and he's going to try going through that doorway, and he's come into a bathroom, and we all know what happens when you go to a bathroom. You must use the toilet, because when you flush, things can happen sometimes. And this is one of those times. Of course, Craig has a steel bladder, so he doesn't need to use the toilet, but fortunately, he still can use it. So the only thing in that room that he's just uncovered is a treasure chest. Let's hope there is a heart keystone in it. Unfortunately, it turned out to only contain a random relic and a money bag, which he'll be able to use, I'm sure, but it's not the heart keystone he really needs. But he's got one in his inventory, so he might as well use it now. And he goes up and he puts it into that inviting keystone keyhole, and it puts out half the fire. Now he's got to go find another heart keystone. It's simply got to be in that treasure chest, in that other room where he's got to push the pushable statues, so he better go back in there now and see if he can retrieve it from that treasure chest. Firstly, he needs to push the statue out of the way. He's going to give it a push now so that he can make room for the other pushable statue. He's got to pull it. As usual, it takes him forever to push these things. They must be exceptionally heavy if they're made of wood, because they take a lot longer for him to get them to where they've got to be than I'd expect if they were stone statues. So now he can go back and grab this statue and pull it along. He's got to walk around that corner and open up that treasure chest. So that has closed those doors that are down below, so he's going to have to make sure that he puts this statue back on that floor switch once he's emptied the treasure chest. Otherwise, when we go to the next tomb later on, he won't be able to get into some of the rooms because the doors will be locked and he won't be able to find the doors to unlock them. He'd have to try to find his way all the way back here to push that statue, so let's make sure he does it this time. One last mighty pull and he should be able to get around that statue and into that treasure chest. So off he goes down that narrow path. So what's he found? A couple of piles of ancient coins and a heart keystone. He's got it. So now he just needs to push that statue back onto that pressure switch in the corner. open those doors up again. As I said, these pushable statues are heavy and it takes a little sim a lot of effort to move them along, but at least he's got it back onto that switch and opened that hidden door down below. Now he can go back to that other room and put the keystone into the keystone in the keyhole, and hopefully the rest of that fire will go out. And it did. Lucky he's got Pangu's axe, he's going to need it next. He's got a whole pile of rubble to clear. It would have taken him a long time to dig through that with his pickaxe. Now he's got 2 more pushable statues to pull. He better get to work, Craig. Be building up some muscles here, I think. I suspect that goes on this pressure switch down here near the door on the left. That little task is going to take him minutes, so we'll skip ahead a bit. Okay, Judy's turned up. Come to see what Craig's up to. We're going to need her assistance soon anyway, so it's lucky she's there, I suppose. Craig's slowly getting it to that spot where he can then push it along. Of course, there's another pushable statue down there as well. I wonder what it's for. So he's mounted onto the pressure switch and it's activated something. Oh, look, another pressure switch. That's what the other statue's for. Okay, Craig, get to work. Pull it all up this way. Again, we'll wait. Judy's waiting as well. She obviously wants to talk to him, but he's busy. She'd better move out of the way, though, because she was standing exactly where he's going to have to stand when he pulls that statue up to the spot that he needs to pull it to. And there he is, right on the spot. Now we've just got to push it across to that floor switch and wait to see what might happen. And there it is. Reveals 2 hidden doors. They were behind where he was standing. Okay, more exploring to do. And more fire to put out, with 2 more heart keystones required. So we're back on another keystone hunt. Judy couldn't find any extra hidden doors in this room. Craig went to the next room that has just been revealed to see if he can find a heart keystone in this room. There's a bottle of nectar on the floor he can pick up, and there's a rubble pile that he can use Pangu's axe to clear. And that pushable statue is not actually pushable. We'll see what we shall see. At least he's getting a bottle of nectar out of it. We see Pangu's axe in action again. Aha, treasure chest. And that could hold a keystone. It's got a gargoyle. It's part of the Dangerous Creatures collection and is quite valuable. And there's also 2 bottles of nectar in there for him. Looks like he just got some lifetime happiness points as well. And there is a suspiciously empty pedestal. We put a firefly on it, a white firefly worth 7 simoleons, and he found a hidden door with a room containing treasure. Is there a heart keystone in there, though? Looks like I can take the nectar out of the nectar rack. Oh, that signalled something to open up some fire traps. Hope you can get out of here with that being fried. He took all of the nectar that he could take, and he left the nectar that he had to taste, because he's not tasting nectar during this adventure. And now he's going across there to collect that bit of gem dust before he tries to get out of the room. Hopefully he won't get fried in the process. It looks like there's a bit of a gap there, so he should get through okay. There's Judy still waiting. She's been closely examining that keystone while he's been in that room. Craig had a bit of a dilemma. He didn't know what to do next. He couldn't proceed through the other newly discovered room because there was fire traps in the way. So he went down to that end doorway that had previously been blocked by the 2 movable statues that he pulled up to cover those floor switches. And when he went through the door, he discovered a wonderful sight. And Judy hurried down there to join him because she wanted to see what he could see too. What a magical place! This must have been where Jean Nacro and his wife lived after they escaped from Egypt with the stolen gems. They were hiding out from the pharaoh. I wonder how many hidden doors are here and what treasures are hidden in here as well. But right now, they're in desperate need of 2 heart-shaped keystones. Judy headed for one of the large blue doors to see what was behind it, while Craig read the inscription on the canopic jar before collecting all of the treasures that he could see. The canopic jar read, By using 5 canopic jars in a sarcophagus, an ancient being may join your household. So if you want a mummy in your household, gather 5 canopic jars from the Copic Jars collection and stick them in a sarcophagus. When Judy walked into the other room, she discovered it was a bedroom and she realised she was tired. So she immediately climbed into bed and went to sleep. She'll leave Craig to uncover all of the treasures that are in this room and see if he can find some hidden doors. There's lots of windows. I wonder what's on the other side of them. After all, we are deep down in the cellar underneath the nectary. This is the 3rd level of the nectary cellar. Surely they don't have windows out into the open air. Judy went to sleep, quietly confident that Craig would get to the bottom of this puzzle. Craig came through the door and was surprised to see Judy sound asleep in a huge bed. It looked very comfortable. And he also noticed a massive pile of rubble that he couldn't resist smashing with his Pangu's axe. Wonder where that's going to lead. Doorway. Man, that's a surprise. Better go through that doorway, Craig. Bathroom. We know what we do with bathrooms. Use the toilet, Craig, even if you don't need to. Use it so you can flush. And as Craig flushed, a hidden door was revealed. And that hidden door led into a tiny room that had 2 nectar racks, and one of the nectar racks had some nectar in it. So Craig took the nectar. And when he took the nectar from the nectar rack, a hidden door opened behind him. Craig heard the door opening and he turned and was surprised to see he was going to be walking into a beautiful artificial garden. There was treasure. There was a treasure chest, which needed to be opened immediately, of course. And the windows, that's where the windows from the bedroom look out into the artificial garden. If you're going to live underground and you can't come up to the surface, you might as well enjoy the facilities. The first thing he's going to collect is that silver bar, or it could have been some other metal, but it was a bar of smelted metal, white metal. And that is a heart keystone. So he's got 1 heart keystone off that pedestal. Now he's got a pile of ancient coins to collect and a treasure chest to open and empty. And there are 6 bottles of nectar in that treasure chest. It must be very old nectar if it's been there since Jean Necro and his wife lived here. But it's certainly a lovely relaxing spot for anyone who has to live underground in their hideout for a long time. So now he can go back to the bedroom where Judy is sleeping and see what else can be found. There's another rubble pile that he can use his Pangu's axe on. It's closer to the bed. I hope it doesn't wake Judy up. But Pangu's axe doesn't make a lot of noise compared to banging away at it for ages with pickaxe. There goes the axe. It looks like it's just that treasure chest that was half exposed already. Just a couple of money bags. There's Judy still snoring. And now you can see through those windows. The lights are on in the garden. And there's another rubble pile. The blue and white bricks look like a cloudy sky through the windows. Another treasure chest. Just a pile of ancient coins. Craig's getting tired, but he can keep going until Judy's ready to wake up. Final treasure chest. Oh, there's another bar of white metal there for Craig to collect and a treasure chest to open. It's got the metal and there's nothing much in that treasure chest, just a couple of not very valuable relics. Now he's off to see what else he can find. He's got to track down a keystone from somewhere, and it would be nice if he could get the part of the tomb collection, because he's got to be getting close to the end of this tomb. I think this video is going to go beyond 30 minutes. I want to finish this tomb before I end the video. So he's got his hand down another hole in the floor. He's got something out of it. I think he got a bit of food out of that one, and it wasn't even high quality. So he's trying to get through another hidden door here. It's obvious the door's there, of course, with the mat. It sounds like he's talking to himself while he's trying to find the latch to open that door. So he's found the door and it's opening. And oh, look, another room. We have a been in this one yet, obviously, and Craig's sleepy. We already knew that. Is he going to find any hidden doors in this room? That looks like a very interestingly blank bit of wall just there. And there's a door we could go through. That one's not hidden. So we might go through there and see what's to be found. Here's Craig walking past that intriguingly blank piece of wall. We'll have to check that out shortly. He goes through that archway that we just found. That looks like another pokey little room with holes in the floor and a puzzle to solve. There's another room down below. Undoubtedly, it's got hidden doors that we've got to reveal upstairs here in this room. There's what looks like nectar racks coming up from the floor below. So there's two pushable statues. Pulls that one off that switch because it was on the switch when he came into the room. And that seems to have opened a door up somewhere downstairs. How is he going to get across to that treasure chest? Maybe there is a heart keystone in there. So I told him to go to the treasure chest and he's gone outside and around into another room that he's been in before, but it's got that other blue doorway that we haven't tried to go through yet. There is that treasure chest. So he can open it up and see if there's a keystone in it. He's waiting patiently. And I can now confidently let you know that there was no keystone. We're still on the hunt for a heart-shaped keystone. There was just a single cheap old broken relic. So we got to come back and continue on. He thinks he can drive there, but he's not going to. So that's the room downstairs. I guess we'll get into these rooms eventually. He's going to push that onto that floor switch and see what happens. Ah, there's a hidden door that closed when he put the statue onto the floor switch. It's on the left now. Let's see if he pulls that statue off that floor switch. That door should open. And there it is. So now we know why we're in this little room, but it looks like there's more pushable statues in the next room. So let's go in there now and see what we can do. I think Craig can walk around quicker than he could push those two pushable statues out of the way. And now he has shown you the path he took. There's a heart keystone. It's on the pedestal, hidden behind all those pushable statues, and there's a treasure chest there as well. I think I'll speed this up and make it run really fast while he shuffles all those pushable statues around. We'll be here all day and all night waiting for him to get to that keystone and the treasure chest. Actually a very simple puzzle to do. All you've got to do is get the central pushable statues pushed up against the outside walls and just leave half that archway clear and you're in. But it just takes a while and it looks complicated, but it is one of the easier ones to do because there are many correct solutions. In spite of being exhausted, he's done it at 400% times the original speed. He's got the treasure of some dried food and a couple of relics, and he managed to pick up the second heart-shaped keystone that he needed. He's come back to have a look at that intriguing piece of blank wall. It looks like he has found where there should be a hidden door, and there it is. He's revealed that suspicious-looking spot did have a hidden door in it, and there's a rubble pile. Lucky he's still got Pangu's axe. Looks like there's some piles of ancient coins there for him to collect as well. So he'll go and pick up the coins before he uses his axe on that rubble pile. I think he's about ready to go to sleep. I think Judy should be ready to wake up now so we can swap sims. I wonder what's hidden behind this rubble pile. I hope it's something important. Is that a gargoyle or is it the part of the tomb collection we're looking for? And it happens to be the tomb collection. That is the French signet of the Tomb of Isael. Time to get some bearings. This is the ground floor of the nectary. And this is the top level basement of the nectary. And this is the second top level basement. It's just got the set of steps and the shadow of some more steps. Third top level or second bottom level basement. And this is the fourth or bottom level basement. The adventure continues. Judy is refreshed and awake, and Craig is exhausted, so he's gone to sleep. But before he went to sleep, he handed his two heart-shaped keystones and Pangu's axe onto Judy. And Judy is setting out now to continue the adventure. She really must find the Tomb of Isael and the mysterious sapphire of the Crescent moon, which will be hidden in that tomb somewhere. So put in one heart-shaped keystone into this lock and unlock it. And there goes the fire. There's no more fire traps. So she can get through to put her second heart-shaped keystone to unlock that door. So it's unlocked and she can go through the door now into a dark room. It's full of pushable statues. It's only a small room, so we'll look at it from above. It's a little bit too cramped to see what's going on. Otherwise, what she's got to do is push the statues. It's so simple that it's just all you've got to do. But as she pushes each statue, the light comes on. So she gradually works her way through the room. Oh, she's going to pull this one just to be a little different. 2 lights are on. That's an interesting door she's got to go through. It doesn't look very important, does it? But it is locked and we need to get through it. As she was doing this, I was wondering if there was some special order it had to be done in. But I just went from left to right. Didn't find any hidden doors in this room either. And then the door unlocks. And now let's get down. Drum roll. Judy has just completed the Tomb of Isael. So there it is. She's found the place where the Sapphire is hiding. There's plenty for Judy to do in here before we wake Craig up, because only Craig can take the Sapphire from its hiding place. It's a 2-level tomb. It's that darkness above will vanish when we page up to see what's above. And look, there's another room below with a sarcophagus in it. So there's a lot more to this tomb than we've uncovered so far. But that mysterious room with the sarcophagus down below, we won't get into that until we do the Tomb of Jean Necro, which will be in another episode. This episode, we're only covering the Tomb of Isael. She's the wife of Jean Necro. Of course, she was also the Pharaoh's daughter, and they escaped from Egypt with all these gems, which is the gems are what Craig is looking for his adventure. Now, Judy spotted a note on the wall between the sarcophagus and the thrones, and it says, "Here we sit side by side, sipping nectar until we die, Isael and Jean." Then there was another note that she wandered over to see what it says. It said, "This path cannot be opened until one is in the midst of the trials of the floor below." That's a bit mysterious, but it sounds like we needn't bother with that fire. We obviously have to do that next episode when we are solving the Tomb of Jean Necro. And she's not quite going to attack those sarcophagi yet, so she went across to pull that pushable statue onto the floor plate to see what would happen. And it put out the flames at the bottom of the steps. How convenient. She wasn't too sure where those steps would take her, and she didn't want to forget to do those sarcophagi, so she thought she'd do them now. Always wondering if a mummy would pop out and chase her, but she was safe. Sort of. She was hoping she would get enough value out of any treasures she found in the sarcophagi to make having to overcome her nervousness worthwhile. She got out of that first coffin safely. Hello, the second coffin has captured her and shaken her up, and now she's seeing stars. But she's going to go back in. She's a brave little sim. She's always hoping that she's finally going to find something worthwhile. She knows she's not allowed to pick up the sapphire, and so far everything she's found has been fairly mundane. But there is treasure of sorts in each of these sarcophagi. Hopefully there's no mummies going to grab her. It takes her such a long time to get through each sarcophagus as well that she's leaving herself exposed terribly to a mummy attack at all times. But so far she's been lucky. Nothing's grabbed her yet. Yeah, there's nectar down there she needs to pick up. It's much safer to go down there to get the nectar than to have a look at that final sarcophagus that she hasn't touched yet. I think she's going to try to pretend it's not in the room. Somebody's going to have to go and investigate it. It could be Judy, but if she puts it off for long enough, maybe she can get Craig to do it. Because all the time she's been looking for things in this room, he's been sleeping, but it's about time he woke up, even if he's not quite ready to, because that is the treasure chest with the sapphire. and only Craig can get the sapphire because it's Craig's adventure. I think that's a fire trap she's trying to disable at the moment. I don't think she's having much luck. She's still a bit nervous from all the terror she put herself through going through those sarcophagi. I think she disabled the trap, not sure, but it's time Craig arrived. There is another trap there. She might as well try to disarm it as well while she waits for Craig to turn up. He'll get here eventually. Oh dear, she failed. And it's a dart trap, and now she's too frightened to have another go at it. So Craig's going to have to disable that one, or run the risk of one of them walking into it by accident. Oh well, Craig hasn't turned up yet. She might as well check out what's in those treasure chests. Not the middle one, of course. She found a couple of nice-looking bottles of nectar in that first treasure chest that she opened. And the second one just had a money bag or two. Not very exciting, but anyway, she's emptied them. She might as well... Oh, here's Craig. It's about time you showed up. He doesn't know what's up those steps yet, but we do. Think we might get him to try to disarm that trap that Judy won't touch. Hopefully he'll be successful. In the meantime, I'm thinking we might get Judy to check the walls up in this level to see if there might be any hidden doors up here. Eventually, after a long time trying, he managed to get that trap disarmed, and then he went over to see what was in that middle box that was glittering. Judith decided she'd prefer to stand guard on the treasure chests than go look for hidden doors. But Craig did get something out of that chest, and it was what he's looking for. He's now got the sapphire of the Crescent moon, and now Judy's decided she will go and have a look for hidden doors after all. Oh, and she's found one. That's exciting. Craig's heading out of there. He's done enough. He doesn't want to go do any more. Uh-oh. He had a quick change of mind. He's going back upstairs again in a hurry. That was interesting. Mummies. Well, Judy can go and investigate that room. See what she can pick up. Looks like it's just a piece of sarcophagus. Wonder if there's any hidden doors in this room. Judy thinks she's found one. Looks like she has found one. She's looking to see if she can open it. There's got to be a latch somewhere to let her get it open. So there it is. She's found the way in. She's opening the door. I hope she's going to get something worthwhile out of this one. Looks very dark. You're going to have to go through that door, Judy. It doesn't matter how dark it is. There might be lights. Oh no, there's no lights. It's just dark. Oh, there's fire. Looks like there's a building over further. Maybe she should head for it and see what she can find over there. Big blue doors. They could be lucky doors. Tell Judy to go through them anyway. Judy has a mad dash across from where she can see through where she can't see, all the time hoping she doesn't walk into a trap. And she made it safely. Blue inside. Treasure chests. Lots of piles of ancient coins. Looks like there's only one treasure chest. Start collecting the treasure, Judy. Pick up the money bags and the ancient coins. Then we'll investigate what's in the treasure chest. Looks like that could be a cut diamond or something in the middle there she just picked up. There's another cut gem over on that pedestal. And another plum bob cut. Probably an amethyst, I'd say. There's certainly a bit of treasure in this room. I hope that treasure chest's worth opening. Got 3 more piles of ancient coins and another plum bob cut gem. Looks like it could be a yellow sapphire. That treasure chest looks interesting. I haven't seen one painted quite like that before. This could be the only treasure chest in the whole tomb that's worth opening. I mean, cumulatively, they have been pretty good. Yes, she's got rainbow gem cut, I think it's marquise cut, and several pieces of sarcophagus. No, there's no more hidden doors. So that's it. The tomb's complete. We got a couple of mummies to get past, that's all. So Judy can make her way out into the darkness and through to the light again. Here she comes. We've got mummies, 2 mummies down there. Who's going to go down there and take care of those mummies while the other one looks into that sarcophagus we haven't looked at yet? I wonder if they came out of that sarcophagus. Because I didn't see them appear, I just noticed they were there. Something's triggered them to come out. That's a bit of a mystery. It might have to stay a mystery, I think. Aha, Judy's got brave. She's gone down there to look into that sarcophagus to see if she can find any treasure. Hopefully the mummies will stay away from her, but it looks like they've both turned and are heading in her direction. Hopefully she can run away from them fast enough and not get caught. She's found some treasure. Hopefully it's worthwhile. 2 mummies approaching, Judy. You better get ready to run. I think she's in trouble. It sounds like she's trying to talk her way out of a fight. She's trying to make friends with that mummy in the yellow kilt. Uh-oh, fight. Judy's having a fight with the mummy. Come on, Judy, you've got to win. We can't lose you at this point. That green mummy's standing there trying to help the yellow mummy by thinking and wishing hard. Judy is terrified that she's going to get attacked by both of them at the same time. She's got to win, but I think she's failed. Don't go to sleep. There's another mummy waiting to take you on. Oh dear, I wonder if she got cursed. I hope not. She's going to go to sleep. Oh, Judy. Now what are this pair of mummies doing? At least the big one hasn't attacked her as well. Oh, they're going back for her. No, they're standing still, having a little think about what they should do next. They think rather slowly, I think, after all the mummies. Uh-oh, the yellow one's heading off towards that sarcophagus. Green one's just heading off. Well, that's one sarcophagus you need to keep away from. That was the winning mummy. He's gone. And with the green kilt on, he's still around though. Judy must be going to wake up soon. I noticed Craig hasn't come down. We're getting a good close-up look at that mummy. Craig's still hiding upstairs. Judy's going to make a dash for that door. Uh-oh, she's going straight to the mummy. No, she's walked past it, thank goodness. Mummy's turned around, Judy's stopped. Judy, go through the door. She's thinking about going home. She just wants to go home. She doesn't want to talk to this mummy. When you get a chance, just check out the look on her face. It'll tell you what she's got on her mind, I think. She jumped at that mummy. She means business. She beat the mummy. Goodbye, Mr. Mummy. Oh, she win some, you lose some. She won that one. Dust herself off. Now she can go through the door. And she didn't get cursed. Come on, Craig, you can come out of hiding now. You can go through the door and join Judy. You've got to go and report in to the nectar merchant upstairs. So that door has opened up. It wasn't there before. They can go through. There's some coins there they can pick up. Craig's going to get. Something has happened. Oh, look, that's what happened. Another hidden door opened up. And he's coming through into the room that he first came into. The room that had the bottle of nectar in it that he picked up when he first came down the steps. So those steps just lead straight up to where the room is with the 3 holes that he put his hand in. Put the ruby in to the hole in the wall. So we get Judy up those steps as well. Craig can go and report into the nectar merchant upstairs. This term's good with its shortcuts to get out. You haven't got to wind your way all through everything to find your way out again. Finally, Craig gets to the nectar merchant and he tells her what's happened and shows her the sapphire, and she says, yes, but does it work? Much like the ruby, you must test to see if the sapphire fits. Take the sapphire to one of the 2 remaining holes, inspect it for a slot, and place the sapphire. Return to me when you are done. And that is what we're going to do next episode. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have enjoyed it, a like would be greatly appreciated and would help the channel, as would a follow if you haven't already followed and you would like to make sure you don't miss out on any future episodes. We'll leave our little friends here in the nectary relaxing and enjoying a little bit of nectar after their huge adventure. And don't forget to come back to watch them do the next and the final tomb for France. They've only got one part of the tomb collection left to get. Bye bye for now. Thank you for watching and happy simming.